Welcome, everybody. It's my pleasure to open this 10th anniversary celebration for our degree program in World Politics and International Relations. It's really great to see some old faces, and perhaps there are other old faces watching on YouTube. I don't know. It's nice to think so, in which case, greetings to all the people watching on YouTube. I think it's an achievement we can be proud of, that we've managed to have this degree course, set up this degree course, which was quite experimental at the beginning, and watch it grow over 10 years. The first cohort, I remember, was 17 students, and now we have any number of students applying for this degree program. The majority at the beginning were Italians, but nowadays that's not at all the case. It's really such a varied, amazingly international class. It's like a microcosm of the world. And you'll have seen the poster we put up at the entrance. There's one down here as well. This colorful picture of all the places where all the world politics students have come from. We've covered 6 continents. We're still working on Antarctica. So we haven't had anyone from there yet. But apart from that, I think we've lived up to the University of Pavia's drive to internationalize. I think we've really lived up to that in an exemplary way. So that sounds self-congratulatory, but I think it's true. So we have internazionalizzato, as the Italians say, and it's been a culturally enriching experience, culturally, linguistically, intellectually, and that's true, I think, for the teachers, but also for the students. That's what I'm hearing from the students, what I've been hearing over the years. Many of these students have now graduated. In the grand scheme of things, I guess 10 years is not a long time to be gauging where students end up, what sorts of careers they pursue. But we already have a lot of evidence of people working in international organizations all around the world, and that's really satisfying. And some of them are here or online, and a representative group, I think. I like to think, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what they have to tell us about what they've been doing since graduating. After this first session, where we'll be hearing from alumni, there's going to be a keynote lecture by Richard Kaplan, who's one of the most prominent specialists in international relations. That's going to be in the Aula Foscolo, so we'll all head over there for 11 o'clock. And in the afternoon, there's going to be a panel discussion given by, above all, former visiting professors. The visiting professor scheme, that's another great aspect of this degree course. And I think we have to be grateful to the university for showing the foresight to realize the potential that an English language degree program has for attracting people, high-level scholars from abroad. And who doesn't want to come to Italy when you invite them? There's the sunshine, there's the greatest cuisine in the world, but not just that, there are some excellent scholars who it's really worthwhile for them to make contact with and promote exchanges with. So I'm talking like I'm the organizer of this event. I'm not. The organizer was Professor Marco Clementi, who took over the coordination of this degree program. I'm speaking to you just as deputy head of department, not head, deputy head of department, and as a former coordinator. So I'm very grateful to Marco. The department is grateful for organizing this event and also for taking over the coordination of the degree course with such energy and enthusiasm. I remember when we set up this degree program, it was actually 11 years ago. It feels like 11 years ago. It was 11 years ago because we spent a year designing the degree program. And I remember there wasn't just Marco, there was also Arianna Risirota, there was Carlo Ricci, and there were several others. I'm not going to try to mention them all for fear of leaving anybody out. But I remember the team spirit with which we constructed this degree program back in those days. And we thought hard about what should be taught on this kind of degree program, but also who could teach well in English. And it was quite nice to find so many people who had often trained abroad and were actually fluent in English, but this just wasn't a visible fact at the time because it was quite innovative to be teaching in English. We didn't think about other aspects. We thought about who could teach what and who's good at English. We didn't think about the administrative side. The university had you could say, a foreigner unfriendly administration. maybe student unfriendly as well, because Italian students put up with bureaucracy. They've grown up with it. And a lot of foreign students were rather shocked by the Italian bureaucracy. So in that sense, I'm very grateful also to Daria Milone, who is with us here. She was our first graduate in world politics and international relations, but then she was, became employed by the university as what's called an internationalization manager. And she solved any number of problems, organizational problems, from problems about admissions to questions about visas and study permits, and making the bureaucracy more student friendly, or at least less student unfriendly, you could say. So thank you, Daria, for all your help over those years. Thank you to all the teachers for being so professional and making this degree course work. And thank you to all the students, of course, because without you, without your enthusiasm, none of this would be worthwhile. Okay, I won't take up any more time. I'm going to hand over to Professor Arianna Risirota, who's going to chair the first session. Over to you.
Thank you, Ian, for your words and your past work. And thank you, Marco, for your current position and taking care of all of us as a community. Today, it's a true pleasure and honor to welcome some former ancient students of our Laurea Magistrale Master Program. And I must say that together with one of them, Daria, we have often talked about WPIR, envisaging it also as a community of alumni. And today we have some representatives or testimonials of this living, always enlarging global community. I keep a deep memory of those founding years and of our common learning by doing, we the teachers and you, the students. And I can say our departmental challenge is one, and I'm proud to welcome them warmly, looking forward to listening to their early career experience starting from Pavia's classrooms. Some of them have found their professional home in governmental organizations, in non-governmental organizations, in think tanks, etc. Daria is just around the corner in her precious position at Segreteria Studenti, improving assistance for international students. Yet, wherever they are, we know they are the witnesses of our commitment to a cutting-edge training in international relations with a typical, I would say, political science, interdisciplinary and interactive approach. So welcome back again, and I would gladly leave you the floor, starting from Daria, of the very first cohort, the one of academic year 2012-2013. You have 10 minutes each maximum. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arianna, and thank you everyone for having me here today. So no pressure for my speech no, anyways. So I feel like I was just telling Professor Clementi, I feel I'm getting old, not just because I'm the first one of the list of alumni, so cohort 12, 13, but also because 10 years have passed and most of the students, my fellow alumni, were my students. What do I say when I say my students? Because after I graduated, I started working as an internationalization manager, as Professor Carter said. And I was on the other side, so I was not a student anymore, I was on the other side, and my work was basically being a bridge between the students, international students of world politics, and the administration of the university. So we fought a lot. I mean, Professor Carter at the time was the captain, I was his right hand, and also thanks to Salvatore Giglio, who is in the audience today, we try to, do our best to welcome students, domestic and international students, far away from home, and feeling that hopefully we help them to feel at home in Pavia. So the funny thing is that when I I mean, studying world politics, international relations was not even my first choice. I shouldn't say that. But when I came to Pavia, I'm from Sicily, so I'm an international student as well. I arrived in Pavia and I wanted to study another master's degree at the university, at the department. I shouldn't say which one. And so world politics was this newly born, just born master's degree. No one knew, there were no students to contact. And so it was my plan B anyways. So I did the interview anyways, because, you know, I was already in Pavia. And I went up to the Torretta, to the tower. You will, if you don't know it yet, you will know it soon. This mysterious place where Professor Carter has the office, I think so. All right, I mean, still. And I entered the room and there were in front of me Professor Ruggio, Professor Carter and Professoressa Confalonieri. And I mean, the interview was amazing and I decided to enroll in the master's degree. So never underestimate the power of a good interview. I said that to the professors. So afterwards, being a student of the master's course was amazing. We were just 17, as Professor Carter said, and I loved it. And it was a really international environment, although there were half international students, half Italian students. But for me, it was like living in the world in Pavia for 2 years. And then I graduated. And after graduation, there was another opportunity that came, participating to the call, to the open call to become an administrative staff, or the idea to pursue the academic career with a PhD with Professor Ricci. But at the end of the day, I decided to follow the administrative career, and I'm glad I did that. Well, who knows what would have happened on the other side, you know? But we did so many things, and now today I'm head of the admission office of the University of Pavia, which for you students who don't know what it was before, I believe that having an admission office, we are one of the few universities in Italy that have a structure created inside the administration dedicated to international students, to their admission and enrollment. I think it's a very big achievement. So that's it. What I want to say is that maybe my career was not the usual career you would expect from a student who studies international relations. So you think you graduate, you go abroad, which is what happened to my fellow colleagues. But I stayed, I remained in Pavia, and my commitment is the one to try to bring the world in Pavia. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Daria, for sharing with us your precious memories about WPIR. And now the floor is for Ruslan Menik of the 2013-2014 academic year cohort, and is currently researcher in the Center for Sustainable Peace and Democratic Development, SEED. Thank you, Ruslan, for joining us, and welcome back to Pavia, even if virtually. 10 minutes maximum.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm glad to be here and to see some of my previous professors. And we also spent some time working on my master's degree with Professor Arianna Risi-Rota, and Marco Clementi was my person who reviewed it. So I'm glad to see all of you here, and I'm glad to be here. So I'll try to share my memories, my career, and some suggestions to the students who might want to have the same work in the same fields. The main fields I worked in were related to research, media and communications, public policies, and European integration. But let me start from the beginning. I was inspired in a part by a comparative method It was new for me at the time. And the comparison helped me to bring some way to reduce bias and provide some evidence in a very humanitarian field that is social and political sciences. And in part, it brings me where I'm now. I'm now, as it was said, a senior researcher at the Center for Sustainable Peace, which is dealing with the international development and peace building. And here we particularly apply comparative method, different statistical methods, quantitative methods to advise our international donors how to best spend, the most efficiently spend the money and design the interventions. However, more and more I'm working with the numbers, there is a greater understanding about the value of qualitative techniques and the expertise, because how you design your quantitative research, how you interpret your data much depends on the expertise of the researcher and the qualitative analysis as well. So there is a great value in combining different methods of research. And of course, for the researcher, there is a great need to develop those different fields and master those different research methods. But I arrived at this point not immediately. I have other realms to taste before I realized and I understood where I would like to stop. So in this journey, I was also working with the Ukraine's EU integration and project management and courses from world politics master degree were, of course, very useful, specifically public policies and law of European integration. But my first job was actually in media. I work on TV, and that was a project called a Review of International Media, and I was responsible for Italian media. So Italian language, which I learned during this master course. You all know there is this Italian language course for foreign students, was very helpful for this, my first job. But also working in media, I also realized and found a very new, very creative world of media. And to be a journalist is actually to master so many professions, coming from video editing, cameraman, director of photography, screenwriter, editor, expert in some field, and so many things to do. To be a good worker on TV, you definitely need to master many softwares related to video cutting, video effects, graphic design, etc. So if someone wants to pursue this career, my advice would be to work on hard skills a lot. And from media, I came logically to another field, which is the field of communications. Precisely, it was the mainly communication of Ukraine abroad, because all of information invest specifically in English language were coming about Ukraine, but not from Ukrainians in Ukraine. And often there were many misunderstandings and Russian propaganda. So there was a huge need to tell the truth about Ukraine. And we started this communication with the platforms called Ukraine World, and we also published at Ukraine Alert Atlantic Council. And this was a part of shift from the journalism media to actually starting analysis and working with policies in the field of communications, which was time transferred to another field where I work, which is called disinformation and propaganda. It was a very salient topic, especially after Russian invasion in 2014, because the war was waged by Russia not only by military means, but also in the informational field. And the knowledge of different fields, starting from history and ethics, we had also during this course, are very useful, because all of the manipulations with propaganda are often in the field of history and in the field of morale and ethics. And it's very useful to know, to be able to resist these manipulations and to expose this all blatant lies. And now in 2022, we have another escalation of the war started yet in 2014. Here is when the international humanitarian law and ethics of international relations are violated every day. International law and real politics show themselves in action. So all I studied is visible now, and here where we stay, where security trumps all the other needs of the country. My main advice would be probably to invest in your knowledge, but also to invest in your experience, because without experience and without knowledge, they should work together, they should come together. And experience is particularly useful, especially for the first job, which is not an easy task to find. I fully join what Professor Kata told about the international multicultural environment. I felt that, even though it was the second year, but we had lots of Italians, but students from other continents and countries as well. And I very much enjoyed this multicultural environment. I found new friends, some of which I connect by now. We keep in touch, and also Pavia and University of Pavia is very beautiful in terms of architecture. Cortile is just a joy and pleasure to just be there and spend time there. So it was a very pleasant experience, and I recall it in my memory usually with warmth. And thank you for all your teaching subjects, discussions, talks, informal chats, etc. It was a great joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruslan, for this inspiring talk. And now the floor is for Cecilia Magarotto from the cohort of academic year 2014-2015. She is currently Operation Consultant, World Bank, JFSP, Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. Thank you, Cecilia, for joining us.
Hello, hi everybody. I hope you hear me well. I'm very, very happy to see some familiar faces there, and I'm so sorry not to be there with you today. As it was said, I'm currently working for the World Bank, and more specifically for the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. And I'm stuck in Rome because next week we will have the UN Committee for Food Security, and I could not come there for this reason. I don't know how interesting it is to learn what I'm doing now, but I think maybe for you in this very moment, it's more interesting to know why I think you made a great choice in enrolling in this master, and I think you did. I also was very confused when I enrolled in the World Politics Master, but it was a bit random. I didn't know what to do. It was very late to go abroad. And then I found out that I was doing my bachelor in Pavia already. So in a way I wanted to leave, but then I found out that it was this master in English, and it was indeed peculiar. It was not super common in Italy to have a master taught in English. So I enrolled, and it was really the right decision. In general, I think this master gave me a lot on the human level. I have amazing friend, Nicole is one of them, and it's here with you, who really accompanied me throughout the years, and this is also always a great asset. But in general, I think this master gave me new tools that I didn't have. In practice, it really obliged us to write a lot in English. This was not common, at least for me as an Italian. We were never taught that, and I can tell you that this is an asset and a tool that I really helped me a lot then in my future career. A part of the amazing subject that we thought that we were taught during the years. I mean, utilitarianism is today a great topic for dinner discussion. So thanks, Professor Carter, for that. But jokes apart, I think one of the biggest pro of this master is that it gives us amazing opportunities to go abroad. So I had the opportunity to study my second year of the master in Antwerp, in Belgium, as an Erasmus student. And that was already a great opportunity. After that, I came back. I did a little internship at Oxfam while I was writing my thesis. And then I moved, again, thanks to the university and a scholarship of the university, I moved to Mexico with this scholarship called Cooperazione e Conoscenza. And that was a turning point in my life in general. I think it was such a great opportunity that then opened up a lot of doors for me. So I think what I would have liked to hear 10 years ago or 7 years ago is that, I mean, it's okay not to follow the official path, not to start a perfect job right away. But I mean, if you have the tools, everything will work out. It seems obvious, but it's not. And I know it's hard when you're a student, and we are in a tricky field of study. It seems that we have 1,000 opportunities. It's very hard to decide where to go, and it seems very difficult to get there. But I assure you that through every single steps you're taking today, you will get there, and every single steps play a huge role. So I really recommend you to embrace all the fantastic opportunity that this master program will give you, in particular the experience to go abroad and make as many connections as you can with the people around you, and also to have a lot of fun, because those are amazing years of your life. So do not worry too much about what to do with your life, because if you're doing the right step today, that will work out. So what can I tell you more? I'm sorry, but I didn't prepare a great speech. I'm just thinking what I would have liked to heard, and going in that direction. I think that the recipe for me to get to do a work that it's motivating and in line with my study was exactly doing these experiences abroad, thanks to the master, getting this analytical and critical thinking that it's always relevant in any field you will get into. Also doing many work experiences in parallel with your university career helps. And also a little bit of luck. It's always important, I think. Going back a little bit on the step I took, just to give you a little example of how my career developed. So after I graduated, I went to Mexico. I spent there 6 months, not much, but as I said, it was absolutely great. After that, I came back and I started working for the Committee on Food Security for a little period. And after that, I was lucky enough to win the Blue Book at the European Commission. This is a 6-month traineeship program where you can get to work in a DG of the Commission. I had the big luck of working for the Agriculture DG. And also this is another funny thing, no? So you start studying and you think you have a field you like and you're passionate to, and that for me was immigration, for example. So during my university career, I always focused a lot on immigration and human rights, and I really wanted to do that. And then for a very random reason, I ended up in agriculture, and I absolutely love this field. I think it's, I really advise all of you to think of getting into this one, because it is so broad, and in agriculture you have any type of topic. You have gender, you have climate change, you have these inequalities, poverty reduction. So any sort of subfield. I'm really happy of what I'm doing now. It is my job. It's basically managing a portfolio of projects on the field of agriculture and food security. But I don't want to take much more time. So if any of you is interested to know more about World Bank, about the GAFSP, which is the program I work in, please reach out. I'm very happy to talk about this a bit more. But yeah, in general, I just again want to thank the master, because he gave me really the tools to do all this today, and amazing connection that helped me out throughout the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia, also for your witnessing and advising today very precious opinions and perspectives. And now the floor is for Nicole Cesarani from the cohort of academic year 2014-2015, who is currently Program Development Specialist, Plan International UK. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Professor Risirata. And hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Nicole from the cohort 2014-2015, so same cohort of Cecilia. And as Professor Risirata was saying, I'm currently working as a program development specialist at Plan International UK. I'm normally based in London. I'm now in Italy just because I'm on my maternity leave. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me. So nice to see again familiar faces. And so my experience with world politics actually started as I was coming from a completely different field. I had a bachelor in modern literature, and thanks to volunteering experience in Kenya after my bachelor degree, I decided to look into political science and international relations to potentially start a career in the international development field. And I look into different master's degree option, and world politics honestly stood up as for its interdisciplinary approach, interactive approach. Obviously, the English language was a great plus, and also for the fact that I had the chance, I knew I had the chance to meet people from other countries, other cultures, and also many different academic background, because I was not the only one that was coming from a field that was not IR or political science in general. So I really have wonderful memory of my time in Pavia. Actually, I spent only 1 year studying in Pavia, because the second year I spent it all abroad, thanks to the opportunities that also Cecilia was mentioning. And I have to say that the main difference I noticed from the Italian university method model is that, and I really appreciate this aspect, is that a lot of value is given to the interaction between students and scholars and to students' opinion. I mean, the fact that you can come to the class and really express your ideas and share and have a debate with your fellow colleagues and professor was something that I was really missing from my time in the bachelor degree. Instead is something that is really important to develop your critical thinking, your capacity to speak in public, your capacity also to write, as Cecilia was saying, in English, is something that is really important and really helped me a lot in my consequent career. I have really wonderful memories of endless discussion in and outside the classroom with my fellow students on the topic of the lesson of the day, and many other interesting discussions. So I had really good memories of those 9 months only that I spent in Pavia. After my first year, I got a scholarship for the exchange program with the San Francisco State University, where I spent 1 semester. It was a wonderful experience, really super fun and also interesting. I really hope that there is still such a program, not just, okay. It was really, really wonderful. And obviously being in California gave me a full mindset of ideas of what to do next, and a lot of experiences. I volunteered with the UN Women National Chapter there. We attended the lesson in the university using a completely different teaching method, very interactive, very again, interactive, sorry. And after that, I managed also to take another scholarship with the Maici Crui program, which is a program funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Italy to have an internship in embassies, Italian embassies around the world. And I was assigned to Amman, Jordan. And that was really a lucky moment for me, because although I have to say that diplomacy and the work of the embassy was not really my piece of cake, I managed to meet and work very closely with the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation and Italian NGOs that were working in Jordan at that time. Through this interaction, in very spontaneous interaction, I managed to get an internship with an Italian NGO called Terre des Hommes, and thanks to the Fondo Cooperazione e Conoscenza, I got this internship funded by the University of Pavia, which was honestly a great help at that time of my career. That obviously was the very beginning. And after that, it was just one work after the other, one position after the other with Terre des Hommes. So I really thank the Fondo Cooperazione e Conoscenza for giving me this opportunity, because it was the real spark for my career. And actually the year after, thanks to the connection with Daria, we managed to get another student from World Politics, the next cohort, who was given another internship with the same organization I was working with, and he started his career as well in the very same way I did. So I really appreciated the network of alumni that World Politics also creates, because I see that there is a subsequent experiences, shared experiences. So I was saying, yes, I spent 4 years in Jordan, where I work with Terre des Hommes in many different positions. I work, Terre des Hommes is an agency, an NGO that works mainly with children, with the protection of children. And we were responding to the Syria crisis, the spillover of the Syria crisis in Jordan. So the refugees from Syria coming from Syria in Jordan. It was a very good time, and very important to learn by doing, let's say. And after that, I moved to London, where I started working with another NGO, an American NGO called International Medical Corps. I was a program officer, so I was supporting country offices in especially reporting, proposal writing, and in getting more funding from especially institutional donors such as USAID, World Bank, UN agencies, and I've been working with Sudan and Afghanistan country offices mainly, and I got also the very good chance to travel to Kabul before, I mean, what happened last summer. So it was really a very talkative, I mean, a very important experience to understand better the context where you're working. In the end, I moved to this not so new. I mean, the last position I have in Plan International, where I'm working mainly to support some country offices to develop project proposal from again institutional donor like the World Bank, many governmental donors, and is let's say less practical experience than before, but really interesting for the interaction you have with country offices and for the possibility again to apply most of the skills that I gained through the world politics and international relation master degree. As Cecilia was saying, writing in English is something that, I mean, if you are Italian, you know that may be a big obstacle in your life. Instead, having this strong background and having professors that are giving you very strict direction on what to do and what not to do in academic writing was really fundamental. I must say that, yeah, it was very important for me. I mean, I would say that the pivotal moment of my life was really the choice of coming to world politics and all the skills together with the opportunities that this master degree gave me. So as an advice, try to take them all. It's not so common. Not all the universities in Italy especially have this possibility, give students this possibility, and don't be shy, go ahead, try as much as you can. It's a very complex and challenging field of work because of the many different possibilities you have in front of you, and it's totally normal when you finish your master degree that you don't know exactly what to do, that you have many ideas in mind and you just try, and but go ahead, try, and I'm sure that you have all the tools and the capacity to go and to find something. So again, thank you very much for having me here. And if you have any question about NGOs world, I'm more than happy to answer from what I know. Obviously, I'm not a super expert, but thank you very much.
So thank you, Mikol, and also for stressing the importance of being trained in soft skills and the importance of scholarships and networking exactly from Pavia as it happened in your case. Now the floor is to Daria Shumilova from the cohort of academic year 2015-2016. And now she's currently communications expert, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, JCIP Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. Thank you, Daria, for joining us. 10 minutes maximum.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. Well, first of all, let me congratulate my my faculty and the program WPIR for on this anniversary. It's really great to see that the program keeps developing and that the program is getting more recognition and that there are more people and more alumni that are getting, successful in their careers. I really wish all the best and all the
sorry, Daria, there is something not working with the audio. I don't know if it's your audio or ours.
Is it
there is a
can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Okay, great. So did you hear me before? Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so wanted to congratulate the program on the anniversary and many thanks for the invitation. It was I was really happy to receive this invitation from Professor Clementi, and now I see a lot of familiar faces also in the room. Professor Ariana Rizirota, who was my thesis supervisor and who had to deal with me traveling back and forth and sometimes being a bit absent from Pavia when I was in Vienna already, and still being very supportive and very encouraging for me. That's really great to see everyone. Well, so yeah, I graduated from the WPIR in 2018, and I was in the cohort of 2015-16. And I must say that maybe like maybe I also should not say that, but Italy at first was not my first choice of master's program. I finished my bachelor's in regional studies and international relations. And then after that, I was at the crossroads. I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do next? I wanted to go and study abroad. And my first choices were Sweden and Holland. I remember that. And I was exploring master's degree programs there. But some things did not work out. And I was thinking, okay, fine, maybe next year. But then a friend of mine told me, hey, why don't you try to look for some programs in Italy? It's a great place. It's an amazing country, and they have English taught programs. And I thought, okay, why not? So I started looking for programs, and I started looking for those, some university programs that would be interesting for me. And I found the program in world politics at Pavia University. And the program curricula got me very interested, and I thought, okay, I will try to apply, even though I thought that maybe I would not even qualify. And then I had an amazing interview with Professor Carter, and I don't remember who else was there actually at that time, but I remember Professor Carter was there, and I was very much inspired, and I was hoping, okay, hopefully I can get there, hopefully I can go to the university. And then I got accepted, and I was really happy to travel to Italy. And in the beginning, I arrived to an absolutely new country. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anyone. I did not have any friends in that country. I arrived with a newly met friend of mine, Alexandra, who traveled with me together in the same plane. And we were both kind of in this limbo at first. But then we met all our professors, we met our classmates, and it became such a great experience that even now being in Vienna since 2017, I still say that I left a piece of my heart in Italy, and a piece of my heart is still there. And I always think about the times when we studied together. We had these amazing lectures. We had these great things we were doing together. We had a cohort of people from all over the world, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from United States, from Latin America. We were such a great mixture of people of different views, different backgrounds, but all connected with this passion for knowledge, passion for sharing our thoughts, sharing our opinions, gaining new knowledge. And I think that our professors were the ones who encouraged us to do so and to share our views, to not be afraid to speak our minds, to engage in discussions, even sometimes even some disputes sometimes when we had some different views on some issues. But it was always kind of the spirit of that free speech and freedom of thinking, and this passion for learning that we all share. I do remember until now the course we had with Professor Ricci on international law, and when we were tasked to prepare a case study and to analyze a case study in groups. And we got so inspired to do so that it became more of a kind of role-playing exercise for everyone. So I remember people were dressed in suits and they were playing the roles of, like one side, the other side, and playing the role of people, and like kind of playing it out in such a way that it was engaging and it showed how motivated people were. And I think that this example and many other of those examples that we had, the debates we had with Professor Carter on ethics, how heated the discussions were at some point when we were discussing some issues where there could not be any right answer. So there was no single right answer there. And I remember how heated sometimes the discussions were, but at the same time, it was so engaging, so interesting. And I think that the greatest part about the program for me was that we like the spirit of learning and spirit of networking, spirit of sharing that we kind of developed throughout these 2 years that we studied as a cohort together. For me, then during the second year of my studies, I did an internship with like as part of curricula, which was supported by Erasmus program, and that was the internship in Vienna, which is like, this is actually the thing that brought me to Vienna. It was in the organization called CTBTO. It's a comprehensive nuclear test and treaty organization. And I went there to work as an external relations intern for half a year. And at first, I was very much interested in nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. Professor Rizzi-Rotter remembers probably that my thesis was actually about nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament diplomacy. And I was very much inspired by that topic. And after the internship that I had with CTBTO, I then used my experiences there to include in my master thesis. And then after that, actually, my career took several very, very interesting turns because after CTBTO, I moved to work in the OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which was more research oriented. And there I was actually, my knowledge gained in WPIR related to international law, to international politics, was extremely useful because there I was doing a lot of research on political developments, specifically around Ukraine, and I was very much engaged there in doing research related to war, related to conflict studies, related to humanitarian issues on demining and other humanitarian issues related to internally displaced persons and other matters, including even environmental impact of war. And then after this experience with the Parliamentary Assembly of OSCE, I was on the lookout for other opportunities, and life brought me to the International Atomic Energy Agency, where I started doing communications. And that was the first experience I had with working precisely with communications matters. And there I was very lucky to have a great supervisor who is a talented journalist and who taught me a lot of things related to writing, to social media management, to strategic communications. That was also another internship I had for a year. That also coincided with the Corona times, and also that was probably good timing for me to have this internship because the times were not very stable, and I could gain the experience and I could gain the knowledge. But after that, all of a sudden, life brought me to UNIDO, which is United Nations Industrial Development Organization. The profile is completely different, and what I'm working now is totally different from what I had before as where I worked before, which was nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and nuclear energy. Now I work with clean technologies and green technologies, and I still work in communications and in strategic communications management. And the program that I work with supports clean tech enterprises in developing countries in Global South that develop clean technology innovations. These are renewable energy, energy efficiency, waste management. So this kind of technologies that are important for climate action, for climate mitigation. So this actually, I must say, this has been so far the most interesting experience, and the most diverse and the most let's say the most challenging for me as well, because this is the area where I had not much knowledge before. I did have some idea about climate action and environmental issues, but it was never substantive. But
sorry, Daria, could you come to your closing point,
please? Sorry. Yes. Yeah, and so my advice, I just when I think what I could give as advice to other students would be grow your networks starting from now on, and be proactive, make friendships, make connections, gain knowledge in every kind of area where you can, because you never know which knowledge could be useful for you. And also be flexible in your skills and your expertise, because you never know again where life can bring you, and be prepared to learn new things. And if you want to learn anything about any work in other international organizations like IEA and UNIDO or OSCE, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will be happy to give you advice. Thank you.
So thank you, Daria, for your witnessing your career, early career, very intensive changes and challenges. And now it's up to Natalia Dziadik from the cohort of academic year 2016-2017, currently researcher at the Central European University. Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you. Hi, I hope you can hear me well. Thank you very much, Professor Arizirota, and good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces, and I'm very happy to be here, even though virtually. I'm sorry I couldn't join you in person, but thank you very much for inviting me. When Professor Clementi actually sent me an email with this invitation to the roundtable, I got very happy, but then started thinking what actually I can share during this short 10 minutes. And especially because it took me almost 3 years to complete my master's program. And every day of that time was full of multiple events and also very rich emotions. And I would maybe start with sharing some of my memories from those 3 years. I remember the first month when I arrived to Pavia was quite challenging for me, not only because I couldn't speak Italian, but also because I did my bachelor's in a small university in a small Western Ukrainian city. And when I arrived to Pavia, it was actually the first time when I had to read text in English, when I had to build my responses in English and eventually also write semester papers in English. And at the beginning, I even felt very shy to speak, but because we had such a supportive environment, we had very supportive colleagues and professors, and especially my master thesis supervisor, Professor Carter, was also always so supportive. And I feel very happy that I actually decided to take Professor Carter's course right at the beginning of my studies. And all of our professors were encouraging to the extent that eventually I stopped being worried that I may say something wrong or I may make a grammatical mistake. And it was very inspirational. And it was also the first time when I actually saw so many people in the library rooms. It may sound very familiar to, or maybe this view is very familiar to many of you. And later I realized it's very normal in Italy. But for me, it was something very new, and I was very enchanted by seeing this, by seeing people waking up so early in the morning to go to grab a place in the library and study. And it was very fascinating to see this thriving energy, thriving for knowledge. And I also remember how our classes were always so interactive and how often we also had team projects. And Daria already mentioned the teamwork that we had with Professor Ricci. And I also remember it as one of the very vivid experiences when we had to work on those court cases. And those elements of working in teams also were very motivating and encouraging and driving us and our motivated spirits even more. And I also remember how my classmates were inspirational. And when we had time for class discussions, there were always many hands and people always had things to say. And even though it may seem that it should be a common feature of most of the master programs, but I think it shouldn't be taken for granted, because this is something still very, very unique and very inspirational to see a cohort of, we were around 40 people, of all the 40 people being so inspired and so motivational. And I also remember quite many nights of staying up until late in the library in my collegio. And the experience of living in a collegio was also quite unique. But what was great is the tea, or maybe the fact that it was in Italy and we had this amazing coffee and the sunshine and all the beauty around, but we had this very good combination of the work-life balance. And at the same time, we also had so many experiences and also so many opportunities to experience new things. And it has been already mentioned how many exchange opportunities, study abroad opportunities, and internship opportunities our program offers. And I was also trying to make the use out of them. And in the second year of the master program, I applied, or before the second year, I applied for 2 study abroad opportunities. One was an Erasmus exchange in Austria, in Vienna, at the University of Vienna, and the second one was in Australia at the Sydney University. And I remember I was a bit worried about is everything all right?
No, go on, please.
Yeah. That I remember how even my friends were joking that I was choosing places to study abroad based on an alphabetical order of choosing Austria and Australia in the same year. But it was really amazing that in the end I decided to do both. And I'm very grateful to Daria Milone, who helped me a lot with figuring out how these things work. And also to the university for the financial possibilities to actually do that, because otherwise so many of those opportunities would have been closed for us. And at the same time, I'm very happy that I decided to do both of these exchanges, because I was still wondering if it's not too much to go to 2 places within 1 year, and maybe I should have stayed longer in Italy. But in the end, I'm very happy that I did both. And being in Vienna was very inspiring for me, because that was the place where I realized that eventually I would do a PhD and I want to pursue an academic career. And also that was the place where I met my significant other. And altogether, it just made me figure out what would be probably my path and how to slowly get to that. Luckily for me, the Central European University, where I'm a researcher now, has moved from Budapest to Vienna. So in the end, I after a path with also some diversions, I managed to get to live there. And also during the program, I had the chance to do Erasmus internship at Charles University in Prague. And I'm very happy that actually there was this chance to do Erasmus study mobility and also Erasmus internship, where we could get more practical skills. And the key message here is that our program is actually the one that's so rich in terms of different opportunities. And also that the first year of the program is very important, because it gives a solid foundation of not only the knowledge, but also how to feel confident at any of the universities we choose for the exchange. And that's also probably one of my tips, and you have heard it already today, to just try out as many things as possible and enjoy all those different exchange opportunities. I was also a bit worried that maybe if I do my master's for 3 years, it may look strange on my resume, or I may, I don't know, not to waste time, but postpone my life after the graduation of the program. But I do not regret even a single one of those choices, because all of those small pieces of the whole journey actually were very meaningful and contributed to the very diverse skills that I could use later on when applying for my PhD position. And during this whole time, actually, my thesis supervisor, Professor Carter, was very supportive, and we had so many hours of consultations. And I asked Professor Carter to write for me so many recommendation letters, and also help me with even suggestions in my research proposal. And that's why my advice is that choosing your thesis supervisor is a very important step. And also not only looking at finding a person who works in the field you're interested in, but also a person with whom you find it enjoyable to work. Because after being in academia for longer, I can tell you that this emotional component of finding people with whom you feel it enjoyable to work is actually very, very important. And maybe as one of my last suggestions on the career path, which I still don't have a very extensive career path, but still, is that you can try out working in different spheres, and it doesn't necessarily somehow diverge you from achieving your goal. But of course, it depends on the personality, and if you have a more clear idea of what you want to do in the future, then go ahead and pursue it. But if you are feeling a bit lost, as I was feeling after the master's, don't worry trying out different things, because eventually you will get to doing what you like. I remember that right after the master's, I didn't want to enroll for a PhD immediately, but I wanted to try working at an international organization. And because we had so many classes about the UN and all the regional organizations, and it was quite challenging. I was sending so many applications and also received so many rejections. But after trying to modify my applications and ask for feedback, and actually Daria Shumilova here was one of the people who gave me a very good feedback on my applications. So don't underestimate the value of friendship and asking for help from your friends. Eventually I started being invited for interviews and got an amazing internship opportunity in Warsaw at the OSCE Institute for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights. And I was thinking how to approach this, because my initial dream was to do it at the headquarters. But in the end, I realized that doing an internship at a smaller office of an international organization was also an asset, because we were working in a smaller team, and I had a chance to actually show that I could be trusted with important tasks. And in the end, I was working on analyzing hate crime reports, and I never had to take meeting notes or do copies. And it was very, very inspiring to actually feel trusted so much as an intern. And now, even when I'm doing my PhD and my research, I'm still working with them, with this institution. I'm sort of a seasonal worker and help them with the reports every spring and summer. And it is amazing also from the perspective of how you can still combine different things when you're not sure exactly what path to choose. And if you're thinking about choosing an academic career, but you're worried that maybe it will take some years of the working experience away from you, please don't be worried about that, because you can always combine different things. And at the same time, even doing your research as a PhD student, as a researcher, would be already counting as a very important professional experience, even if you want to find a future work outside of the academic environment. So if you decide to choose an academic career, I'll be very happy to help you as much as I, of course, can. And please feel free to reach out to me. And maybe as one of the last things that I wanted to say is that not only career is important, of course, but there are also friends and these very important emotional memories that that matter in life. And I'm very grateful that this program, that the World Politics and International Relations program, actually helped with getting all of that, getting good career prospects, and also amazing friends with whom I still stay in touch, and very great memories. As Daria said, I also left a piece of my heart in Italy, in Pavia. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm very happy to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia, for this warm witnessing the importance of the master program for your starting in the international world and framework. And now Vittorio Maccarone, who managed to be with us physically. Thank you very much, from the cohort of academic year 2016-2017. So we are moving faster, closer to our years. And he is currently Consilium communication operator. I think he will tell us about his activity as a professional journalist. Thank you, Vittorio.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Professor Arisirota. Thank you, Professor Ricci. Thank you, Professor Clementi Carter. Professor Clementi, actually my thesis supervisor. Really humbled to be here to speak with you and to speak also to all the students of the master's degree in international relations, world politics and international relations. My name is Vittorio, and I am a world politics alumnus from the 2016-2018 academic period. Now I am a journalist. I'm working in a communication agency in Milan as a consultant, as a media analyst for some international clients. And I'm also a geopolitical analyst for an Italian online website, review, which is called Il Caffè Geopolitico. My task here is to, in a way, not only to promote the faculty, the courses and the classes. You know, the professor asked me and asked us also to provide you with some hints that maybe can help you better figure out how to capitalize on this great opportunity that is to be enrolled in this master's degree. Because, you know, when I was on the other side and I got in touch with the previous students of the previous years, all I wanted to know was was that they could tell me which were the most important things to address in order to deal with the two-year academic period. So I would like to emphasize three main issues of this master's that, in my opinion, are really important. First of all, this is an English thought master's degree full of prominent and well-known professors. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a really, really important feature because it is the first thing that really paves the way for instance, a successful international career. So, of course, there are many elements that will weigh on what you are going to become at the end of this master, but the opportunity to attend interesting classes, the opportunity to listen your professor's mastery, the opportunity to, I don't know, for instance, read the papers suggested by your professors. It is a really important and fundamental element that, in my opinion, you have to exploit as much as possible. So, as Ruslan maybe said before, my suggestion, my recommendation is to establish, even, I don't know if it is allowed to say this, but establish a close relationship with the professors, or at least with those professors teaching the subjects you like most. So it is really important to me. There is another issue which has been already mentioned by Cecilia, which is the opportunity of the Erasmus program. I know that many of you come from abroad, so maybe this is already an Erasmus for you. But like Daria, I come from the same geographical position of Daria, so I'm an international student as well. But so I'm talking not only to the Italian students, but also from those coming from abroad. The Erasmus program is a really, really important opportunity that you have to exploit, because in my opinion, there is no World Politics and International Relations course without an Erasmus. I enjoyed the Erasmus during my bachelor's degree. I was carrying out an internship in an international organization called the European Public Law Organization in Greece. And during my master's degree in world politics, I did other two Erasmus. The first one was the classic one, the Erasmus program, Erasmus Plus program in Belgium, in Ghent. Maybe it was already mentioned this as well, for 5 months. And after these 5 months, I was accepted for another internship in Hungary, in Budapest, that time in a non-governmental organizations. And these were, I would say, one of the best experiences in my life, not only because they were really crucial for my personal growth, but also because they were really important also for my academic improvements, because for instance, I had the opportunity to get in touch and to be introduced to other experts, other pundits, other analysts, other academics coming around the world. And they were really important. I don't know, for instance, they were really important to help me draft better my master's dissertation. So please, my advice, if you can, of course, if you have the opportunity, please enjoy the Erasmus program, because it is a really, really great opportunity. And the third and the last issue, which I would like to underline, is that, you know, I work as a journalist and as a foreign affairs analyst. So I would like to say something on how the master's degree in world politics can help you to introduce to these subjects. If you are an international affairs enthusiast, and if you like geopolitics, if you like foreign affairs and foreign policy, which is actually becoming really important during these months, we all know why. I give this recommendation: follow for sure the international relations course class of Professor Clementi, but I would like to mention also, which is a really compulsory according to me, class, the explanatory model in international relations course taught by Professor Parry. It is a really, really important subject, which was really helpful for me, because, for instance, it gives you the fundamental basis that will help you understand how the international arena works, how international actors and states behave within the international arena. For instance, they behave through benefit risk assessments and the pragmatic choices rather than ideological purposes. And this was a really, really important thing for me to better grow and to better acknowledge that some issues may not be like we thought before. So these are my suggestions, and thank you, Professor, for having me here today, and thank you again.
Thank you, Vittorio, for your precious tips to our audience. And now Eva Leni from the cohort of the academic year starting in 2017-2018. She is currently Regional Justice and Peace Manager at the International Rescue Committee. Thank you, Eva, for joining us. 10 minutes maximum.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled to be in your presence, and I compliment on celebrating 10 years of the program. This was a very
sorry, Eva, to interrupt you. We don't see you. We can't see you. Probably your camera is switched off.
Hello?
Yes, but we are just reading your name and not seeing your face. Yes, now you are. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry about that, but thank you so much for having me on this alumni panel. I'm very honored to be a part of this day and celebrating 10 years of the program, which really played a big role in the career path that I've taken currently. When I joined this program, I was looking to have an international experience to broaden the experience that I had. And when I came across the brochure for world politics and international relations, it really resonated with me. Also for the fact that it was an English course and I'm coming from an English speaking country, I felt this would suit and was tailor-made for me. I came to Pavia not knowing what to expect, but I had an open mind to learn, an open mind to take in as much of information that I would be able to in order to improve my skills. It was very, and I don't know how to express it, because when I joined the class, it was very, we had people from different places of the world. I had friends from Germany, from Tanzania, from Italy, and having discussions with people from all around the world really enriched the discussions in class. I remember that the discourses we used to have, it helped me learn a lot and prepared me to the path that I am currently undertaking. I was also privileged to undertake the Erasmus Plus program and to have an internship in Belgium, and this really helped me in the current work that I'm doing. But it also informed me on my master's thesis. I was able to analyze the legal programs in Belgium, and I compared them to the ones in Uganda. It was very, very insightful, and I would encourage the current students to take up any opportunities of Erasmus, of travel abroad, because this broadens your understanding. The world is a very global place, and such travels help us enrich in our minds, broaden our experiences, and also set us to a path where we can better support the communities we're in. I am currently working with South Sudanese refugees in Uganda. Uganda hosts one of the biggest refugee settlements in the world, and this the experience that I gained in the class is what has sustained me in this work. So I do not take it for granted. And my advice to the students is take advantage of all the opportunities. For me personally, I appreciated the oral exams specifically. There were different types of exams in the class, and at the beginning, I had a lot of hesitancy towards the oral exams. My first oral exam was with Professor Focacci, and I was very nervous. I was so nervous. After that, I gained confidence, and in the next exams, it became better and better. And I'm very sure that experience improved, gave me better opportunities. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, so the advice I would also give my final advice is have an open mind, take up all the opportunities that are available to you. There are lots of opportunities within the university that you can that are available. So that is it. Thank you so much. And once again, compliments on the 10 years programs and greetings from Uganda. Thank you.
So thank you to Eva too for this warm memory of their stay in Pavia. And now thank to all of you in person and via Zoom for joining us and sharing with us your experiences. And now I would leave the floor to Professor Carter before closing this morning session, half of the morning session, because we are to move to Aula Foscolo for Professor Kaplan's keynote lecture. The floor is to Professor Carter.
Thank you, Arianna. Just before closing, we had some little notebooks World Politics notebooks made, especially to celebrate this occasion. And we'd like to present the people who were kind enough to join us this morning and speak. We'd like to present you with these notebooks. The people from who were unable to be here will be receiving them by post. So here you are. Thank you.
This is to keep your further memories of the Pavia experience. So thank you very much for your attention. Unfortunately, we have no time for a Q&A session, but I am positive. I think that if all the guests agree via their institutional mail, maybe, and we teachers acting as bridges between you and current students and them, we might create a network and give you the opportunity to ask them about your needs, curiosities, and anything related to what you heard today in this room. So thank you very much again, and all the best for your future.
So we're all heading now to the Aula Foscolo. If you get a coffee on the way, don't take too long over it.